Oh yeah, very nice indeed. It is nothing if not a political season here in Park City. Our literally and metaphorically most important position is once again up for grabs. Jack Thomas has ably and admirably served as our mayor. He's a fantastic fellow. I actually spent 30 seconds in the mayor's office with Jack Thomas, the first time I ever did that before. And he has been a great friend to Park City Television. We are grateful for his service, but forward. It is time for us to select a new mayor, and the fellow who is joining me this evening has nothing if not distinguished himself in a prior incarnation as the mayor of Park City. He just felt the urge and the need to come to the aid and comfort of his community, and so he is back. He has made it through the first round. We send our warmest regards to our friend Roger Armstrong, who will continue to serve with distinction on the Summit County Council, and now there are two. We will see Andy Bierman next week. This evening we are joined by the once and current candidate for mayor, Dana Williams. Hi, brother.
Hi.
Good to
Thanks
see you.
for having me.
Of course, always.
That was very well said.
How was that?
That was beautiful.
Well, I feel like an intro is an opportunity to kind of encapsulate, but then also set the stage. And,
Right.
and you know, when we do, we are fortunate to have folks who join us on Park City Television who aren't from Park City.
Right.
People love to come here, they love to visit, but also, you know, an important constituency, not in the official sense, but
Right.
an important constituency of Park City is our friends, our neighbors to the
Second homeowners.
to the west. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So,
Well, great.
congratulations.
Thank you. That was humbling, and you know, to come back in, one, you know, taking the time to get your mojo back in terms
Yeah.
of used to public speaking, used to sitting in living rooms again, and it's been super fun, you know.
Good.
And so I was a little nervous about it going in, and
Sure.
and so, you know, because part of this, a big part of this is also you're kind of on a listening tour.
Right.
And what's bothering you guys? And so I've been really excited. I have this amazing campaign committee, and there's several millennials that are on this that I think it's probably the first big campaign, you know, or political campaign that they've ever worked on. And their energy and their love and their support and everything has just been so cool. Because you have your moments. And there's been a couple of walking around the blocks at 4:30 in the morning, just, you know, because it's hard.
Sure, sure. And you are submitting yourself for judgment.
Of course.
I mean, it's a very vulnerable place to be. People think, oh, well, Dana, you know, he's been mayor, and he's a,
Right.
you're a confident and passionate guy, but that doesn't mean that you don't have those same experiences.
And there's some hard things that get thrown your way and stuff, and it's kind of like, you know, there's one comment about, well, if he was any good, he should be running for this and something more than this. And it's like, I never wanted to do more than serve this town.
Yeah.
You know, I never had political aspirations beyond this. I never had these aspirations 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, and so much of it is there's always stuff, and there's always going to be stuff. And so part of what I've been talking to people about is, you know, the people that were in office in the 90s and the activists of the 90s created the governments that are now Park City and Summit County, that are based on affordable housing, open space, growth, and environmental issues. They're the four biggies.
Right.
And they're the cornerstones of both governments, directly because of citizen involvement, you know, back in that era. And, you know, I'm proud to have been part of that. And does that mean your time has passed? I don't think so. I think it actually means that you know, certain things never get old, and the ability to try to be a leader by understanding, trying to understand all the various effects that make up the soft underbelly of a community, that's leadership, and it really doesn't grow old until you die.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you either, and I was talking to someone a few days ago about, you know, I was in the first elementary school in LA that had forced busing for integration. And while a lot of parents were arguing against it, the kids are going, why should we have a problem with this? These are just kids. And from that point on in my life, it's always been causes. And I must admit, you know, when the last presidential election happened, there was part of me that was like, of any time in America for people who have an activist bent to serve, it's now. And so that actually did have something to do with why I came back, because it's like everything that I've ever fought for 45 years is under siege right now. And you know, I am regardless of everything that's going on, because this mentality of trying to win by destroying your opposition and stuff has now become the norm. And yet it used to be, when we were growing up, it was anathema. People would not get elected if they treated other people that way.
Right.
Now it's how we do it. And so to a certain extent, I will never play that game. And I'd rather not be in office than get to the point where, you know, I'm going to disparage somebody personally. So,
and I think it's important to say at this particular juncture that I think the tenor of the coverage, but also most importantly, and everybody has their, you know, we all have our passionate moments of grist
Right.
in private, but the way in which you and Andy and Roger have really, I almost have to say, presented a united front,
Right.
on behalf of Park City. And I think that that's something that right, in the old days you'd say, well, that's we don't do things that way. Well, we still don't do things that way
Correct.
in Park City.
And it's happened, and it's happened several times during this. It's just a matter of,
Sure.
you know, if something's said in the Salt Lake Tribune, no one up here covers it. No one up
Right.
here picks up the story.
Right.
And so if someone sees it, and they'll call and say, oh, I just read this from a month ago. Do you realize what got said? Yeah, I realize it. And it's all good, man, because you can't worry about it. So, you know, I think there are a lot of things going on right now that people are concerned with. I think there are a lot of decisions that have been made in the last year or two that the unintended consequences are starting to show themselves, and things that are happening that are going to come into effect either this fall or later this winter, that the unintended consequences are falling on the working class and small business owners here.
As they do.
As they tend to do, but we're better than that, and we need to be thinking in loftier terms, in my opinion. And so, the whole concept of adding this other voice, and that someone who did wait tables here and has bucked hay here and things like that. This voice of I get it. I don't mean that egotistically for a second, but I know how difficult it is for a lot of us to be here, and I still struggle. And people are like, are you going out door to door? No, I was hanging drywall today. You know, I have to work, and I still do, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I think the other thing that's even bigger is just this whole concept of my folks brought us here in 1964, and they got involved, and I've been involved, and now my children are involved in nonprofits and coaching soccer and doing things that are about trying to make a community better. And so there's this, and you know, when my folks were doing it, it wasn't referred to as activism. It was just trying to build a community.
Sure.
And you know, I'm proud of where we're going, and I'm not concerned about the fact that our issue right now is one of the biggest issues is traffic. We'll figure that out. I'm glad we have it, you know, and I'm sorry, but you know, we are. I keep seeing these things that we're more park than city. No, we're a city. We are an urban city, and we have this amazing interface with open space around us that is so unique, and it's ended up becoming an economic driver that 30 years ago, when we were saying this is the key to our economic future, people were going, you got to be kidding, and it's now happened.
Yeah.
And
No question.
and so we're busy, and our issues are based on our success. So they are achievable, but they're better than the alternative. When most of us were unemployed in the summer, and there wasn't enough work in town, and
Right.
we didn't know if we were going to make it as a resort community. So I think it's exciting, you know, and it's super fun to be back.
No question about it. So we got to go, but I want to ask
Yeah.
you one last question, because we know each other and we've been around each other for years. I'm curious what your experience has been, because I remember you referring to the fact that Ryan was a little guy when you were running the first time and the things that you shared about his perspective of changing, and Megan, of course, also like you had a really different family and you were in a different place in your life, and now you have these beautiful, amazing, wonderful young adults that are the future of the Williams clan. And talk about what that experience has been like this time around.
It's both of my kids are on the campaign committee this time, and and basically kind of sat me down and said, when we were little, there were times we hated you because you weren't ours. And you were everybody's, and so we couldn't go to dinner without you talking to me, and you always felt the obligation, and we didn't get it. And now we get it. And my daughter says, I can't go anywhere with my brother anymore, because everybody knows Ryan, and so it's like the next wave. But, I couldn't be, and Megan is, she just started full-time at the VA as an RN, and which is absolutely awesome. But she's very focused, and she's actually, that's been her job with part of this campaign, is keep us on
task, because it's important things.
It's really easy to go off on that, but the fact that I've spent so much time with the next wave, and when I hear people disparage millennials, it's like that is not my experience.
Right.
And
Agreed.
and there's so many things that they just accept that we had to learn how to go, from what to tolerance to acceptance, and in their culture it's just accepted. So they are a constant source of energy and light in campaigns. So it's very cool.
It's fantastic. And
thank you for bringing that up.
Fun to see you guys, and all the best to Lisa as well, always.
Thanks, Terry.
And we'll have lots more substantive conversations before this election takes place.
Great.
But for this evening, we say congratulations.
Thank you, buddy.
Welcome back to the Crucible, and we will be enjoying the campaign season.
This will be fun.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thanks,
brother.
Terry.
Okay, you guys, we're going to take a quick break. We got to catch up with Pete because he's got a bunch of gigs coming up. Black Kiss is a name for the future. And of course, we have one more tune as well. Please stay tuned because I love you.